Young Jack Walker was popular at school, a head boy, athletically gifted, and with a sense of adventure that took him straight into World War I, where he vanished, killed in action. For 101 years, his family have never known what really happened to Jack until a recent rare discovery in Flanders fields. Here's Ian Sinclair.
Belgium, and in the World War I battleground of Flanders fields, 200,000 missing soldiers lie beneath this mud. But now, Belgian archaeologists are trying to identify just one, a Kiwi.
He'd gone to war and he'd died. And he died in a field in Flanders.
It still gives me goosebumps if you to tell the story again.
An extraordinary discovery.
And that's a miracle. It's a miracle.
At St Aidan's Church in Auckland's Remuera lies a mute reminder of a young man remembered by his family for 101 years. And here's the name, Henry John Innes Walker. This plaque was put up by a grieving mum and dad a long time ago. See, Captain Walker simply vanished into the mud of World War I. And for his family, all hope of finding him was long gone. Or is it? Can the missing still turn up against all odds? How did you remember him?
Just as Jack, Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack?
Yeah, because he was always there from, even when I was little, you know, I used to hear about Uncle Jack. Jack was a soldier killed in the war.
Well, you've got a remarkable record here. Most people have one photo. You've got albums full of Jack. 85-year-old Michael Walker has always been fascinated with the story of his missing uncle. So where's Jack here? Where's Jack?
That's Jack, right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
Yeah.
His family were Auckland pioneers. Take that middle name, Innes. As in the suburb Glen Innes, Grandad once owned the lot.
He bought up virtually all of Tamaki and most of Mount Albert.
Yes, he had advantages, but Jack also had talent.
You know, you get a guy like this who's just naturally very good at everything he does, you know.
And Michael found that's how they still remember him at Jack's old private school, Auckland's King's College.
Probably, well, it was certainly stated in writing that in our history that Jack was probably King's College's most successful athlete ever.
As school historian John Bean reveals, his sporting trophies still hold pride of place at King's.
He was in the first 11 cricket, he was in the first 15 rugby, he was a champion athlete.
Small wonder Jack was head boy.
A golden boy, really. He was the best at everything.
Jack's great nieces, Mari and Juliet, are also intrigued by the story of their missing uncle.
He was a great guy, and all the other boys were good athletes as well. But Uncle Jack, I think, was the star. Yeah, was the star, yeah.
Jack had a thirst for adventure. And the big wide world beckoned. In 1911, Jack left Auckland for India, enlisting for officer training in the British Army's elite Royal Warwickshire Regiment.
He always wanted to be a soldier, right from when he was old enough to know that he wanted to be a soldier. Yeah.
The British Raj would become Jack's Indian summer, a summer that ended in horrific violence. World War I had erupted, and Jack's unit was thrown up against the German invasion of Belgium. His letters back to Auckland paint a frightening picture.
The air was full of bullets and shrapnel. Before that scrap started, most of us had never been under fire, but in 5 minutes we had all experienced just about every sort of bullet from every sort of gun.
Yet, amidst the carnage, Jack witnessed an event immortalised in books and film, the Christmas truce of 1914. In the family photo album, Michael reveals an incredible photo taken by Jack of that event.
It is, yeah.
I see Germans in this photograph.
Well, they just stopped fighting.
This is Christmas 1914. Another letter home tells the story.
Our men and the Germans met halfway between the trenches, shook hands, exchanged cigars and cigarettes, and talked matters over.
why would they do that? I don't know.
I can't believe that they would do that and then go and shoot each other.
It would be Jack's last Christmas. Sunday, April 25th, 1915, Anzac Day. The very morning fellow Kiwis are rowing ashore at Gallipoli, Captain Jack Walker leads his British troops over the top in Belgium.
Would you describe him as a brave man?
Oh, yes. I think his actual words, according to the witnesses that I've got letters of, "Come on, lads." Pistol up in the air, "Come on, lads," you know, real schoolboy stuff.
In just 20 minutes, 2,000 British troops would die. One of them was Jack.
We'd always believed that he'd been hit by a shell and blown to bits, and nobody knew where he was or what had happened to him.
And then the next thing is there's no photos. And that's it. He wasn't coming back. So that was really, for me, really poignant to think that his life had just stopped.
Belgium, 2016. In Flanders fields, the missing have rested in peace for a century.
So that's a ground that normally stays untouched forever.
But now the dead are about to be disturbed. A major development is planned for the battlefield.
Well, they're gonna put a gas pipe in there, so they were going to destroy everything by laying the pipe.
Archaeologist Simon Verdechem would lead a recovery operation to unearth the dead.
Well, we did expect to find some remains, because we were going through a heavy fought area.
Then there was the danger.
What do you think? Oh, I'm not sure yet. There's lots of fragmentation around here, so don't get carried away until we confirm we might have something of a hazard.
Of course, the threat of the ammunition that was still lying around there. So there's always some level of danger, yeah.
All around them lay the carnage of war.
The first 2 weeks we found almost 20 bodies at a real small stretch of the dig. So yeah, you can imagine we only investigated an area that's 13 meters wide. So over 13 meters wide and I think 200 or 300 meters in length. So you can imagine if you would open up the area a little more, how much soldiers are still lying over there. So there was one big shell crater where we found 2 bodies. And one of them was an officer that we could identify as a Royal Warwickshire officer.
An officer from Kiwi Jack Walker's unit, and found in the same area where Jack died.
It's our job, our responsibility to get him out as good as possible. Because if we don't do it, then all the machinery will come after us and his body will be lost forever. But a grave is better than just lying there in the cold.
With the bodies of 200,000 missing soldiers lying in these fields, what are the chances of identifying this particular officer?
Well, there are 2 steps that we do. One is the investigation of the body itself, and that's always done by a physical anthropologist. And then we, as archaeologists, we look at all the personal effects and weapons that they carry with them. Things that can lead us to a name, to a unit, to a fight.
What made them focus on this officer was the sheer number of personal effects found with him.
So he had his uniform on, but in his pocket he had his money, the medallion. He had his binoculars in a leather case. I think his wire cutters were found, a whistle, a pocket knife. Well, everything was still with him. At that point, we found the medallion with the initials on it.
That's Belgian for HJIW, Henry John Innes Walker. Kiwi Jack Walker identified 100 years after he vanished.
Henry John Innes Walker.
Allee, een Nieuw-Zeelander.
It all matched. The belt. The Royal Warwickshire lapel badge still attached to his collar, just as it was in this photo taken before the battle.
Knowing that you found a person and then you can put a name on him, that's something indescribable. It still gives me goosebumps if you to tell the story again. It's something I'll never forget. It was very moving, and Captain Walker will always stay with me and with the team because he was the first soldier we could ever identify.
They'd found our relative, our Uncle Jack, our face of the tragedy, and he had to stay there for 100 years. And now he's been found, and that's a miracle.
For decades, every Anzac Day, Michael Walker has made a pilgrimage to King's College Chapel. This memorial window, a tangible reminder of his missing uncle. Now he has something much more.
I suppose it definitely is closure for me now. Yeah. I can say to family, friends, grandchildren and whatever, Uncle Jack is in a grave in Belgium. It's very comforting to know that there's somewhere to go, something to see, even if it's just a grave. But we know he's in there.
Well, Jack's family are keen to finally get those personal effects you just saw home. His final resting place is yet to be decided.